Nurse contributor, Dr. Dan Gottlieb.
Hey, Roseanne.
Hi. Dr. Dan, I want to talk to you about depression. And I know that we've done many video blogs about depression, and it's a topic that I think is really worth revisiting. Because there's so many different areas of depression, different reasons for people being depressed. And I want to talk to you today about, many times people who suffer from depression, the depression can be triggered by something. It can be triggered by an event. It can be triggered by a time of year that's tied into it. So I just want to talk to you about it, explain to our members how they can deal with that, how to recognize it, and how to get help if they're feeling depressed.
Yeah, let's talk about the latter questions first, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That it's important to know that feeling depressed, that depressed mood, is only one symptom of depression. There are many others. You know about my history of depression. I've talked about it here. My mood is the last symptom I feel. I mean, depression, you can have symptoms of insomnia,
Mm-hmm.
or what they call hypersomnia. You can, when you wake up in the morning and all you want to do is get back into bed,
Mm-hmm.
That's a symptom of depression. Irritability, insecurity, they're all symptoms of depression. Feeling withdrawn. I had a man tell me he felt like he had cotton batting in his head.
Wow.
And I know the experience. I call it oatmeal
Mm-hmm.
brain. It's high in fiber, but you can't function with it.
You can't focus.
Right. So those are symptoms. And what can you do about it? Depression is a brain disorder, and any disease, you got to get on it quickly. Get therapy. Family doc, if he knows therapists, do that first before medication. Unfortunately, in today's healthcare world,
Right.
medication's cheaper, and
We've spoken about this,
your insurance is going to be happier with it. But it's not the first way you go.
Mm-hmm.
Try to find a good therapist who's got skills with depression. One of the things that concerns me is I just read some statistics that on the day Robin Williams took his life, 100 people committed suicide that day.
Wow.
100 people take their lives every day. Every day, 2,500 people attempt suicide.
That's astounding.
It is astounding. It's getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand that, I remember a line, speaking of Robin Williams, I don't remember if you saw Good Will Hunting, but it's when Robin Williams was a professor and he was mentoring, I forget who the actor was, who was brilliant and had a very dark life. And Robin Williams wrote on the blackboard, "It's not your fault." And that changed everything.
Right.
If you have depression, it's not your fault. It's environment, it's genes, it's got nothing to do with weakness.
Now, if somebody tends to, and we talked about this at the beginning, I had said, if there's an anniversary coming up or something that makes you feel depressed,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that you can do to kind of, I'm going to use the word be proactive. Yes, it's not your fault, but what can you do to kind of prepare for that?
I have an anniversary on December 20th. Just went through it.
Mm-hmm.
What I typically do is it's 35 years since my accident.
And it's the anniversary of your accident.
Right. But I generally now approach it with curiosity. The first few years, decade maybe, were terrible. They were painful. You know, I looked back, I focused on my losses,
Mm-hmm.
and well, there was a reason for that, I think. You know, I just needed to focus on what I lost.
You needed to grieve it.
I needed to grieve some more. And now, it could be anything. You know, on my 33rd anniversary, which was, my accident was when I was 33, so it was
Okay.
exactly half my life. It was very meaningful. And Joan, my lady friend, asked me what it was like. And I just started to cry. But the tears were one of gratitude and happiness when I thought about all that had to happen to bring me into that coffee shop with that woman who I loved, that moment. Millions, trillions of things. And, you know, I just felt so lucky. This one was difficult for me. It was more painful because I was feeling depressed coming into it.
Okay.
My trauma from back then got triggered, and by you know, my accident happened with a truck, and so I was driving on the turnpike, and I heard another explosion, and it was you know,
And that just
another truck.
triggered everything from
And
35
it was
years
visceral.
ago.
It was visceral.
Sure.
You know, my body started to shake, and I started to cry, and I didn't have any emotions. No emotions. I just started to sob.
Mm-hmm.
I could create a story of what emotions it was. It was a bodily reaction. And since that time, it took me about 48 hours to get over it, or so I thought. And after that, I remember I felt darker. You know, my sense of humor wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was slipping back into a depression, this time triggered by trauma. You know, it was PTSD that triggered the depression. So anything could do it. And personally, I don't like depression. I hate it.
I don't think anybody likes
Right,
it.
I
Yeah.
hate it. So at that first symptom, I'm all over it.
That's
So
great.
yeah, I'm talking to colleagues and peers, exploring whether I should go back into therapy or different kinds of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I got my psychopharmacologist on the phone. I've mobilized my support system because I was at the darkest depression once.
And I think that's the very important part, is that you have a support system. Whatever it is, you have to create it around you so that when you need it, you reach out.
Well, we all need that as humans.
Sure.
Right?
No doubt
We
about it.
all need that. And it's important to have the courage to tell your support system.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that you're feeling depressed, but what is it like? Because people who've never had depression can't really understand it. Because everyone has felt depressed. Tell them what it's like. And, you know, they'll open up to you. They'll be there for you. Share it. There's nothing to be ashamed about. After all, that's what I'm doing right now.
And thank you. Thank you for sharing your story with us
Sure.
and with everyone. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.